Welcome to the breakdown, where we break down all the messed up movies. Today, we're talking about the film Ted Bundy, directed by Matthew Bright, which is based on the murder spree of, you guessed it, Ted Bundy. This film is a dramatization of his crimes starting in 1974 all the way to his execution. The names of the victims have been changed, but just for clarification, sometimes I will often say who this character is based on. Showing how Bundy killed various young women is very disturbing, but you can find this film on YouTube and Tubi for free. You want to see what happens, including all the messed up parts? Stay tuned for the breakdown. Guess this is the psychopath hobby, practicing having a seizure in front of the mirror. We saw Jack do a similar thing in the house that Jack built. Seattle, 1974. Ted Bundy is a law student who is literally aroused on the sight of women. Cue in the cliche class where the teacher is talking about something that relates to the main character in some way. She's talking about psychopaths and their thirst. We've already seen Bundy's thirst. He pickpockets someone at the store with Nathan Drake efficiency and commits random burglaries like Hank's wife. Later at the club, Bundy gets on the dance floor showing off his moves, but I don't know what she's doing. Never seen that move before. The girls leave fairly soon, and the girl Bundy was all over is left alone. She actually lived close by, and Bundy jerks off furiously in her window. It's actually not his first time doing so, and he doesn't care about an audience. How's that for the post-orgasm clarity? Afterwards, he beats and robs a woman when the masturbation didn't do it for him. He calls his longtime girlfriend, Lee. In real life, her name is Elizabeth. She knows him really well, just not the sick aspects of him yet. She knows he steals and probably messes around with a lot of women. Most women today would see a red flag during this next scene. Sex turns a bit violent when Ted is too rough after getting denied anal intercourse. He leaves when she's telling him to chill out, and Lee, you really have nothing to apologize for. A crazy thing about Ted Bundy is that he worked at the Suicide Hotline Crisis Center. Listening to someone say this stuff is actually scary.
Look, Karen, one day you'll find a love that's deeper and more meaningful than anything you've ever imagined.
He sounds very empathetic and sincere, yet harbors such violent thoughts. It's scary because imagine how many people are just hiding their true selves so accurately. Of course, the girl who he's talking to is feeling this charismatic figure on the other side of the phone. After making sure nobody else does anything crazy, he gets ready for something crazy himself. He splinter cells inside a woman's home, locks her to the bedpost before savagely beating her. This victim isn't mentioned again, but she may have been based on Karen Sparks. It's agonizing to know that someone can break into the only place that you can feel safe. His next victim is named Barbara, who is based on Linda Healy, who was carried out of her apartment. Now, if I was hanging with friends walking down the street and I saw a random person carrying a human-shaped sack, I would copy down that license plate and call the police. However, serial killers are often astronomically lucky, so that's why I feel like this scene was put in the movie, just to show how lucky Ted Bundy could be. Here's the classic con: Bundy pretending to be injured to get a girl to carry his books to his car. Even I would have helped him out. So you can't blame his victims for believing him. Like I said, the true fear of serial killers like Bundy, how easy they can hide. They soon go to a party talking about a serial killer on the loose.
Actually, I think it's fascinating.
Well, I think it's sick and disgusting.
Well, certainly murder is aberrant behavior, but I mean, the psychology that motivates it is really quite interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm Lee in this situation, but I understand the interest in psychology of serial killers. I definitely don't think serial killers are something to mystify. Lee talks to Beverly here about Ted's job at the crisis center. This may be a stretch, but she may be based on Anne Rule, the lady who wrote The Stranger Beside Me. Ted's third victim has to listen to Ted's nice guy syndrome.
See, girls like you, they don't pay attention to guys like me. Guys who don't come from good families. They don't go to top schools or drive fancy cars. Shut up and listen!
Power. Most of the killers we have seen on this channel follow Ted Bundy's example. He suffocates her to death. We're getting a lot of scenes with Lee and Ted. She should just break up with him, but it's hard to do that sometimes. She is pushed into the lake when she angers him. On the ride home, she finds handcuffs in his car. He lies about not seeing them before, but it was fairly believable. Next, you see him putting makeup on the head of a corpse, calling her a pretty girl. Honestly, when I imagine Bundy, I usually think of him as someone who just beats people and leaves them to be found. I don't really imagine him cutting victims up, but he did that. Now you could ask why he didn't try to kill Lee. Well, then if he did, he would be the first suspect. I mean, he's her partner. Later, during another sexual encounter, it's extra submissive, but he wants her to pretend to be dead. Sounds like a nasty red flag that she's ignoring a lot. Later on, he gets a girl to help him out with a sailboat that he doesn't have. Shortly after taking her somewhere, he walks up to another woman and gets her to help him with the sailboat too. He takes her to where the first woman was held captive. Here, it turns into Halloween, Friday the 13th. Ted Bundy runs after her, caring little about her fleeing. This is where he feels like a god. She's incapacitated after seeing a posed corpse. So this gets graphic, but he rapes and beats the second woman in front of the first before crushing her skull. Whatever happens to the first woman is off screen. Imagining the fear that the women in reality faced in this situation is almost overwhelming. Afterwards, Ted is accepted into law school a second time and is about to leave for Utah. Right after his departure, police close off his murder grounds where they find various skeletonized remains. Salt Lake City, 1975. Ted picks up a hitchhiker, an unnamed hitchhiker. What you can expect to happen happens. It's a montage all over Utah, along with some back row footage of the real life investigation and Ted hanging around his decomposing victims. He would usually go back to the places where he killed them just to be around them. Soon afterwards, he cons a woman as a police officer. He says her car was broken into, even though it clearly wasn't. She doubts him the entire time, yet manages to get her inside his car through pure lies. On the way through the city, she realizes that they passed the police station, and he struggles to get her from jumping out. She turns the rope on him really hard. She's threatening to kill him, but she does not quit fighting, even though he clearly has the gun. Soon she just gets out of the car and just runs down the street, stopping a passing motorist. Now, if this was 2020, Bundy would have been ID'd and caught right here. He gets in his car feeling like the biggest idiot in the world. This woman was based on Carol Durant. I don't know if the struggle to escape was like this in real life, but I'm glad she escaped. So many women didn't get the chance to fight back, but Carol did. And she fought damn hard, so that's good work. I just wish he could have been caught after this. The killings don't stop though. Bundy plays on people's good nature to manipulate them. He's got this high school senior falling head over heels for him, and then he beats her to death right in front of her car. Now, it's 1976 in Colorado. Ted pretends to be sick inside of the Willwood Lodge in Snowmass Village. This victim, who I believe is based on Carolyn Campbell, is strangled inside of a hallway where anybody could have been walking through. Some night later, Bundy is pulled over by the police. As soon as he pulls over, the police are ready to arrest Bundy for something other than him speeding. Bundy is placed in jail, and that's how they see the rape kit he had. I believe I read once that Bundy actually had Polaroids of his victims in the car that the police missed. The detective here mentions Tina Gabler, who in real life would be Carol Durant, the woman who escaped. He's reading off names of his victims, asking if they ring a bell. They ring a bell, officer. They ring big bells. Bundy is in jail at the moment. According to Wikipedia, a phone call from Lee, or her real-life counterpart, was helpful in arresting Ted, along with what happened with Carol Durant. She must be pretty shocked to know what he's done. While meeting him in prison, he tells her that he's also getting charged for the murder of another woman. Instead of saying he didn't do it, he just says that their case will fall through. If Lee didn't realize it before, she knows for sure that Bundy is a demon in disguise. I do like the usage of real-life footage showing what happened. Bundy is transported to Aspen to stand trial, but he elects to be his own attorney. So he is given access to the library to research for his own defense. He is guarded, of course, by guards, which is funny because he manipulated this guard too, like they're best friends or something. When the guy trusts Bundy enough to leave him alone to take a smoke, Bundy makes his move out of the window. jumping down 2 stories. I heard that he actually sprained his leg too. I guess that run confirms it. He jumped 2 stories and runs through the surrounding landscape. After 6 days, Bundy is caught again. He was too sleep deprived to even notice the police. In real life, they saw him driving before capturing him. Weirdly, it seems Bundy is allowed to have sex with some random woman during visitor time in front of all the other prisoners and their families. He bribed a guard, I guess, but still, wouldn't people complain? She's loud as hell. Maybe you guys could respectfully let me know who this woman is based on. But she seems to be legal counsel of some type that fell under Bundy's trap or whatever. Soon, Bundy escapes again through the ceiling this time. He makes his way down to Tallahassee, Florida. This far away from that prison, he finds himself a room calling himself Chris Hagen. So now that's the name he tells anybody who asks. He's like in berserker mode. He follows a student back to a sorority house. Really late into the night, he easily walks in because the door was open, or it was funky, didn't close right. He savagely beats both victims unconscious without even a scream. He does this to 3 different women. This is the crime of Bundy that's always freaked me out the most. I'm a student, and to get into a dorm in my college you need a key card, but sometimes you can get in without one. The RAs would constantly tell us to lock our doors at night and would even do random door checks. It would be lucky for someone to just walk in when everybody is asleep and just go door to door seeing if they are open. But there are cameras everywhere now, so it's hard to get away with this sick murdering that Bundy is doing on college students. But maybe there won't be cameras at a sorority house, I don't know. Soon, a sorority sister comes in and sees Bundy running out of the house. She probably expected him to be someone spending the night, but then she sees the extent of what he did. Bundy has a conversation about his deeds with the guy who he is renting a room from. Randy is his name, and he violently stops talking to Ted when Ted says you should admire the killer. Later, Ted finds a girl named Suzanne who is based on 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. He tells her that her father has been in an accident, a 12-year-old girl that he rapes and murders. Soon, Ted gets pulled up on by a police officer who beats the fuck out of Ted, actually. Ted tells the officer to kill him. And just like that, his murderous rampage is over now. But the pursuing trials and investigations show the whole country just how dangerous this man really was. More real-life footage of Bundy being sentenced to death by electrocution. But see how people are parading to see Bundy killed? This film shows Bundy communicating with detectives or whoever, asking them to delay the execution so that he could help solve crimes and stuff. Which he does do, actually. Bundy does maybe help catch Gary Ridgway for one. His time comes soon though. It's time, they say. At least he gets to know, I guess. Most of his victims, they were just being kind, but they were manipulated or followed into their own homes. They had no idea they would die that day. He beat them over the heads, raped them, and disrespected their remains. Children, all the way to grown women. I do not feel any sympathy for this crying demon. He caused generations of sadness just so he could feel powerful. Apparently, they have to stuff something inside your butt so that you don't defecate after execution, cotton balls and stuff. Over a decade after his murder spree started, an audience that maybe includes family members of his victims get to watch him die. The same fear he's feeling right now is how some of his victims felt. His final statement is, "Tell my family I love them." Just like that, Bundy is being executed. Sounds painful, but so debilitating that you can't even scream. Bundy is dead. And of course, it was Wonder Woman who pulled the lever. I don't know why that made me chuckle. The mass audience outside of the prison celebrate. Good riddance. The film ends with clips of various different children saying, "I'm Ted Bundy." These children seem to carry the signs of a future serial killer, I suppose. Why else would Hannah Montana be holding a dead raccoon? Finally, we see a pic of Bundy saying this bit of information. I'm actually glad the movie didn't place much focus on any of those women who were sending him letters and thought he was innocent. But that's it. We all hate serial killers, but sometimes people treat them like movie supervillains, like they are cool or something, like they are Walter White or Tony Soprano. No, they shouldn't be mythical. They cause lifetimes of grief and sadness to family members of the victims they selfishly kill. Those victims were probably in agonizing pain and fear to the likes that I couldn't understand unless I was about to be killed. So yeah, good riddance to Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, and more. So now that we've seen a dramatization of one of America's worst killers, let's talk about the most disturbing moment and most enjoyable moment, and that's spooky stuff. They actually do have a film called Dahmer that is kind of similar to the style of this film. Plus there is this film where he's young in high school, but I don't know about that one. These real life dramatizations are a lot more sadder than the films like The House That Jack Built, because Jack is based on people like Bundy, psychopath type, looking for power. It's also scary because of how normal Bundy seemed, helping out at a crisis center, popular and charismatic. I believe I even read that he worked on rape prevention pamphlets. It makes you fear the people around you even. People can hide themselves very well. Most disturbing moment was every single murder, collectively. I'm not going to trivialize the deaths of real women. It almost makes me cry to imagine the pain they went through. For once, I'm actually glad this movie didn't show too much that it didn't need to. Most enjoyable moment was two moments. First, it was seeing Carol beat the hell out of Bundy. My grandma always told me what to do if I were being kidnapped. Fight like hell. Claw your way out of there. I'm glad Carol got the chance to live and fight back. And Carol right there was stronger than Goku in this scene. Second most enjoyable moment was seeing that Wonder Woman was the executioner. That seemed so heavenly for some reason. And so that's it. Ted Bundy. Good riddance to a real demon. The videos you see before you are also about fictional or real serial killers. They're pretty interesting, so I'd check them out. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you liked the video and subscribe to stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. Spooky out.